Hello friends of the channel. On this occasion I bring you this beautiful sweater made entirely from crochet. We have a very cool sweater for spring. It is perfect for this station. It is very simple to make. The color I have chosen is this very beautiful seawater and nothing more. I encourage you to follow the steps and that you can make a sweater like this. Well, nothing so far a kiss. Well, here we are with the wool that I have used, that I am using right now to make this sweater. Here in Carabal we call it a sweater, come on, but so that we all understand each other. A normal sweater made of crochet is the wool that I have used. It's Melissa from her baby line. The color is number 8. I already showed this when I made the wool haul. At that good moment, it brings you more or less 95 gin, almost 100, does not reach 100. It is anti-peeling. It means that no, it does not form balls. Supposedly it does not form balls. We will see over time. It is an acrylic wool. It suits you well. It tells you that it comes to hand washing. It tells you to work with crochet needles between 2 and 3. Since I wanted this draft to remain, I am going to use, or am using, a number 6 needle. That is practically double what you agree here. In any case, I am going to give you the chains that I have assembled to start working, but I will also tell you what they measure. Centimeters in case you use another wool that you have at home or something else. Of wool that you have left over, or if you buy a wool different from this one, that you also have the measurement in centimeters. And it's not just based on this wool, all right? Well, I've assembled 124 chains. Notice that it's made in one piece like this. So I have assembled 124 chains from here to here and 2 to rotate. And 2 to spin because we are going to work practically the entire jersey in mid-high or mid-high stick. Then here we see a motif that I made, which is made up of 2 turns, which is a flower shaped motif. Later I will make you a sample so you can see how it is made. The steps are simple enough to follow, but simple enough I made it in one piece, as I told you. Notice that I come here working, I make these chains, 34 chains in the air. I mean, I've been knitting, I make 34 chains, and then once I get here, I reconnect it with the fabric. Here I make the chain in the air, I click here again, and I continue working on my mid-high or half handle stitch. Notice that each time the motif 6 turns at mid-high point with half a stick, and I do the flower motif, which is made up of 2 turns. I have the sleeves here. I still have one left to finish, but come on. The sleeve is basically this. Now I'll tell you the measurements. This is the sleeve as is. Simply here, this is the only good point apart from the flower motif that I'm going to do. Different from the half stick, it is a slip stitch or flat stitch, always taken by the back thread. Like this stitch, I also make all the stitches that I make through the back needle so that it does not form this motif and nothing is 7 stitches. This is the fist. I wore the initial 7 stitches in flat stitch or slip stitch along the back thread, and then I continue with half stick or half high stitch. The rest I get here, I spin with chain and I continue making my half stick, the stitches that I have assembled to make the sleeve. I'm telling you more or less so that you have it for reference. I have assembled 68 stitches for the sleeve, 68 chains, and 2 more to twist to make the twist to make our half high stitch. Okay, I will also tell you the centimeter measurements so that if you use another type of wool you can do it without any problem. Well, nothing. Well, so that you have as a reference the height at which I started making the opening for the front neck, about 30 centimeters, and the back, well, 39, the end of the neck. I have decided to make them with slip stitches so that I don't have so much slack and it doesn't end up unraveling my neck. I will do it with slip stitches instead of starting right at this, which would be the next stitch. We are going to start by taking this thread from the back, just like we have done here in the fist, so that we have a neck like this, more or less. I think it can look good. And nothing, instead of starting in this one, we are going to start in 2 previous ones, because this final always lengthens the stitch more and does not leave a gap, and so when sewing it will be better finished. So what I'm going to do is take this back thread and I'm going to work with the back threads. Is this okay? Well, let's hook the thread. Okay, we introduce the crochet hook here. We take thread and we are going to make a starter chain. We have our starter chain. Next would be this one. We keep doing. Notice that it is because of the back thread. We will always do the entire contour of our neck. We'll make it till we get there. I mean, we'll do it from here to here. And it's going to be like a single pita. This pita alone is the one we will cook and we will see. You will see how it will turn out. We will superimpose only one on top of the other and it will be finished like a cloud neck, which is what we really want to do. So nothing, I keep doing the slip stitch until I get to the back. To the middle of the neck of the back, and now I'm going back. Well, we've already gone to the back. So far we have made a chain. We have returned making our slip stitch along the back thread. We arrived here. We have made a chain at the end of the beginning. At the end of the lap, but to start the next one, and now we continue. We will make a slip stitch taking the back thread and we will reach the central part of our back v-neck according to see that it is recited a little. Well, nothing, I continue to do, and when I return here again I will arrive here. I'll show it to you again so you can see how I'm going, because we have already reached the front again. We have made a chain and we are going to do the last lap. I think that with 5 turns we will have the 2 centimeters left that we had said at the beginning, and our lapel will be enough. You will see how it turns out. It will fit us. We are going to sew it here with a few hidden stitches here. And then the lapel on the left side of our sweater is going to go underneath. It's going to leave here and we're going to be left one overlapping the other. I think it might look very good. There are many ways I could have finished them off, really. I could have done it with high points or rods or with low point also, several low point laps, but good. I liked doing it that way. I thought that the neck was going to be quite secure and that it was more complicated, more difficult than I know that it would lengthen over time, and I did it in the end. Is that okay? Well, nothing. I'm going to continue with the last lap, which we're going to finish on the back, on our backs. And again I return with the beginning of the other part of the neck, which will be the left part of our sweater. So far we have reached the end of this part. We are at the back. Be careful, do not leave the last point that I am going to show for you to see, because if it is true that it is always hidden, and it's important not to leave it behind, because otherwise it won't stay straight now, because I took it out and it was loose. But normally this one here is tight and we can't leave it behind. Well, we're going to cut this strand. We're going to do the same thing we did with this side. We'll start here at this little point, not at at the beginning, but at this point below. Let's start here. Working, remember the back thread all the time, and we will make a slip stitch to the end, just like we have done with this side. And well, when this side is back to sew it, we are going to leave this part already cooked before sewing the rest of the sweater. We already leave the neck already finished. And finally make our patent belt, and we would have finished our crochet sweater. Okay, well, nothing until now. Let's see, I have already finished the neck. It may not have turned out perfect, but I have cooked. What I have done is sew this flap, which would be the left one. The cooking here, right next to the one right in the corner, I harass it. First the fabric, very close to the edge, and then the other I superimpose it on top, and I take drunks from here and drunks from the other on the other side, and I think it turned out quite well. Let's do the back so you can more or less see how I did it. Well, we thread a black needle. In the end, I have metal needles, and in the end, I always end up taking these because my eye is very big and it is easy for me to thread. So the idea is that no, it doesn't deform too much as it comes from below, that it stays, that the speed stays as it comes from below, and that no, that it doesn't deform and stay in strange shapes. So that's the idea. Then we're going to sew it a little lower. Here we are going to take this thread from here because this initial part is like a long one, and we are going to be left empty. So to avoid the gap, we bring it closer to this part, which is a little tighter and fits us better. So that's the idea. Don't worry too much because this part at the end is the one below. It is not the flap that is at the top way. It is not really going to be seen above the one we have now, which in the end, you leave the best possible is this, which is the one that goes on top, the one that is superimposed. Okay. So once we've gotten here to the corner, what we're going to do is hook right with the corner on this side, right with the corner. Well, we're going to take this thread like this, and we're going to take it from here to here, and we're going to get closer. finite wound as finite as possible, so that we don't have a very, very crude thing like that left us. We take a wound below and we take a wound from up here. Let's see, we're going to take this Rita from here and we're going to take this one from up here. Make sure that the spike remains more or less. And here the drawing is deformed as little as possible as it comes from below. There it is more or less superimposed. Here we have the front and here we have the back. Looks like it stays. Well, it's a little overlapping like this. Well, we pass the thread back. It would stay like this. And what we are going to do now is pass through the fabric, the thread, and we will lose it like this. Well, I'm not an expert. Knitting, but I do my little things and I am improving the truth every time. I'm learning new things and I'm getting better. You learn a lot from mistakes. This is the thread that I lost from the finish when I finished making the lapel that was left there, as I was telling you. Little by little, the mistake you make now, the next time you do it, because you won't make it again. And the only way to learn to knit is to practice. It is doing many things, going little by little, learning, so I invite you to try and start doing things. It is very comforting because wearing something you have made with your hands is not perfect. Maybe it doesn't look perfect, like one that you buy yourself. For example, you buy a sweater, the finishes they look better or whatever. But the fact that you made it with your own hands and you wear something. And what do I know about pants, for example? Maybe you haven't made everything you wear, but you have made your sweater, or sweater as we say here in the Canary Islands, and you put on the bottom pants, for example, and you don't see the satisfaction that is from something that you have made with your hands. I'm going to do it with highlighted rods, which are called, well, I'm going to do the first round with a normal rod. We'll leave once we tie the thread to the garment. We will do under one superimposed on the other. You will see it in the images, and we will do everything around the first round. Normal rods, if you notice in the fabric, there is always a small spike that protrudes, because right on the spike we will take a point, and between spike and spike we will take another point. We will alternate a point on the spike and another point in the middle. And this is how we will complete our belt around, starting as you are already seeing the images with Loe as a first rod. You can also make a rod by making 3 chains, but well, this time so that it is more closed and I like it much more. So the truth is that I have done it this way by doing low.
Well, I leave you with the images because, as I always say, a picture is worth more than 1,000 words and nothing, so you can see it calmly. Well, so far? Well, and since what was promised is a debt, I am going to leave you with a small video where I make the motif of the flower that appears on what is the body of our sweater. And first of all, what I do is assemble, because in this case it is a small sample. I have assembled 23 chains. Let's first go as in the sweater on our sweater. The flower is made on the half rods because we are going to work on some half rods. Starting, we prick on taking thread, and we prick our third chain from which we had assembled, and we continue making our half rods so that once we have it made on these, we are going to make our motif in the shape of a flower. As we have already said throughout the video, it is part of two. It is simply formed from two turns, and I am going to show it slowly so that little by little you can see how it is done and see that it is not that complicated. It's a little laborious, yes, but it's not complicated at all because I leave you nothing with the images, kisses. Well, nothing, friends. If you have made it to the end, if you have endured the entire tutorial trying to make this real sweater looks very nice and nothing, just tell them thank you very much for watching me, and nothing until the next video. Bye.